and welcome to week 3 of A Pathway to a Positive Special Needs Outcome, a collaboration between VistaPoints and Strategic Financial Partners. I'll be your host tonight. My name is Tyler Page. For the last 2 weeks, we have talked about how to fund a special needs trust and what is a special needs trust. Tonight, we are going to talk about what a special needs trust pays for. Teresa Law and Bill Emmerling are going to answer that tonight. Teresa Law is the Senior Public Relations Marketer for VistaPoint Special Needs Trust and Resource Center, having joined the nonprofit organization in 2017. She brought with her over 20 years of experience in the healthcare world with hands-on experience in the acute hospital setting and long-term care skilled facility. Her management experience in skilled home health, assisted living, and personal support service agencies has allowed her to help individuals navigate the maze of our healthcare system. With her previous background in banking and legal offices, she brought a well-rounded approach to the needs of our clients with special needs and the services available to them. When not at work, Teresa enjoys time with her 2 children, her dad, and extended family. Bill Emmerling is the public relations marketer for VistaPoint Special Needs Trust and Resource Center, with the majority of his time spent in West Tennessee. Prior to joining VistaPoints a little over a year ago, Bill worked with a well-known attorney in the Memphis area who spent a great deal of his time working with veterans and in estate planning and elder care law. Bill, a veteran himself, assisted other veterans with aid and attendance, pension benefits, and Agent Orange issues. Bill and his wife, Lisa, are parents and grandparents and reside in Collierville, Tennessee. They enjoy traveling, projects around the house, and family time together. If you have any questions during the presentation, please press the hand button at the bottom of the screen. And after the presentation, I will call on you. Now, let's hear from Teresa. Take it away, Teresa.
Thank you, Tyler. We appreciate that warm introduction. But most importantly, we appreciate the people that are joining us tonight. The time that you've taken out of your very busy schedule to be a part of week 3 of our 4-week course. We hope that the first 2 weeks were beneficial for you and that this week can have a little bit of fun and some engagement with it as we discuss the yes, no's, and maybes of reimbursement and payments through Special Needs Trust. We appreciate you being here. As Tyler said, if you have questions to ask, please raise your hand. He will note those and we will spend time for you to be able to take care of those tonight. Taking a look at our agenda, this is how we're going to go through the evening. We'll have a brief introduction to this session. We're going to do team check-in and an icebreaker. We're going to discuss the yes, no's, and maybes, and that may bring on some conversation for us. Then we'll look at the summary of events that we've talked about and have time for questions for you. Tonight, Bill and I are extremely pleased to be your facilitators. We have a couple of goals. First and foremost is we want to turn chaos into clarity for you. We want to attempt to keep our session on track, present information related to expenditures from a special needs trust, and answer questions that you have. Should we run short on time, or you would like to talk with us individually, our contact information will be at the end of the presentation, and we welcome calls from you after the presentation. Sometimes you're just more comfortable with an individual conversation, and we want you to know that both Strategic Financial Partners and Vista Point Special Needs Trust are available for you to be able to answer any of those questions that you have. Time for a team check-in. In order for us to feel like we are doing the best that we can for you tonight with questions that may arise, it would help us to know what is the age of the loved one that you have so that we can better answer questions. We have group 1, which is a child from age 0 to 17. We have an adult ages 18 to 54, and a senior that would be age 55 and above. And I do have a disclaimer here on age 55. I know some of us may not like being put in that group, but it gets us the Dunkin' Donut discount. And I really needed that today. So we did that age bracket down just a little bit to be able to get that. So if you would take your time and be able to put in the age group that your loved one is in and submit that poll for us. We'll let Tyler show us some results in just a few minutes and see how that turns out. All right. Ooh, how can that happen? We have it neck and neck. It looks like the biggest part of our loved ones that brought us here today are over the age of 18 and going all the way up into seniors. Thank you for participating in that. Bill and I will use that information as we continue through our presentation. It is amazing to me to see the age groups that come up on each one of these presentations, and we look forward to being able to provide some scenarios for you that will be age specific, and you may see that your loved one falls in one of those scenarios that we have. An icebreaker. I don't know about everybody that's on this call tonight, but my job was to go out and advocate for people with disabilities and to educate our communities on the resources that were available. I'm used to being able to go out, shake hands, hug moms that might be crying, daddies that are upset because they just don't know how to handle situations. And I feel like I know my audience before I even start my presentation. But as we're going through now, a virtual world makes it a little bit harder for us to be able to do that. So for that reason, we've put in an icebreaker poll for you tonight. Basically, it is asking you to answer a question for us. That question is, what is the most challenging thing you are facing tonight? Our poll is now requesting your input. Once again, we've got neck and neck running with medical needs, time with my family, and other can contain a lot of things in there. The one thread that binds us together is our love for our loved one with special needs. We want what is best for them. We want to be assured that they will be taken care of. We're always looking and searching for answers to the many questions that we have. I wish I could feel that we could say we could comfortably answer every question you have tonight, but we want to be able to provide you with an insight into those special needs trusts, the services that they cover, and how a special needs trust can work hand in hand with the government benefits that your loved one may be currently receiving, may be in the process of applying for, or may need at future times. With that said, I hope you're ready to take a look at the yes, no, and maybe of Special Needs Trust. And at this point, let's begin with Bill.
Well, thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that. I also want to thank Teresa for doing the heavy lifting on this presentation. Not only did she come up with a creative presentation, it is very unique, and we hope you like it. I also want to thank Tyler for the nice intro and all the behind the scenes management that he is doing. He's like the magician behind the screen, pulling all the ropes. So yes, no, and maybe, or maybe they're yes, of course, no, absolutely not, and maybe it's maybe because we just don't have enough information yet, or that depends. So how many times in the day do you stop and think about what would be best for my child, my family, my friends, or maybe even yourself? Our lives are so hectic. They're so fast-paced. It may be late at night or early in the morning before you have time to even think. Sometimes we just need to stop and ponder about our specific situation and what to do about it. We appreciate you being here tonight to learn how special needs trusts can be utilized, and we want to honor your time commitment. We ask you to take a deep breath and relax. Think about what can help your situation get better for all involved and create peace of mind. So we're here for 60 minutes. Keep up with your questions throughout the presentation. And we'll leave time at the end to do our best to answer them completely and accurately. We are here for you after tonight. We're just a phone call or an email away. We learned at a very early age that green always means go or yes. So when we discuss special needs trusts, keep in mind that the federal guidelines have been established for the benefit of the individual living with a disability. The trustee of your special needs trust must stay up to date on federal and state laws, as well as any guidelines or recommendations. Some of the many services that we need to consider an appropriate special needs trust distribution, as long as funds are available. And I want to emphasize that, as long as there are funds available. And everything that we talk about with regards to special needs trust is on the behalf of the beneficiary themselves. So keeping that in mind, let's think about the trustee and all the decisions that trustee must have to make. Well, these are the easy ones. These are all the yes ones. As long as funds are available, Let's talk about education, recreation, counseling, transportation, training programs, companion services, medical attention beyond simple necessities of life, and self-esteem items. We call them needs and wants. So let's take a minute and talk about education. Let's think about that. So education doesn't really stop at the age of 18. Your child may have a special interest in art or working with their hands, maybe sculpting clay, considering art classes or classes on engine repair. That's odd. Engine repair, really? Yeah, Teresa had a friend who recently passed away who went to Auto Diesel College, passed with flying colors, and rebuilt engines for years. And you say, well, there's nothing really special about that. Well, there is if you find out that he's blind. One of the best in the area. Everybody in the area had a bad engine, they would take it to him. Maybe you enjoy dancing and want to take a dance class or take a course in creative writing. All of these types of classes are possible. So let's touch on recreation. So tennis, anyone? How about going to play a round of golf at the country club? Or maybe just the ordinary golf course down the street. Both are wonderful activities, and it's great to get outside and have that sun beat down on your face. Both could be approved through special needs trusts. So counseling. Often someone with special needs will benefit from various counseling opportunities. First, the trustee would look to see if services might be paid for by an insurance provider, as those benefits would need to be exhausted before coming to the trust for additional services. That's part of our fiduciary responsibility. A veteran with PTSD from being in combat may need some additional counseling beyond what the VA offers. This could be covered by special needs trusts. And transportation. Ever need to get to a doctor's appointment or make a simple trip to Walgreens to pick up your meds? So think about Uber and Lyft, or calling a cab, getting a taxi, buying a bus ticket, buying a train ticket. Well, I don't think you'll take a train to Walgreens, but you could still buy a train ticket to go somewhere and use the ability of the Special Needs Trust towards transportation. Maybe you want to take a trip on an airplane and take that one-way trip to Paris and back. Well, I would suggest that you touch base with the trustee before you make that expenditure, because that's considered a very expensive ticket. But it is possible with enough notice and the right situation. Training programs, things like karate, employment programs, online classes, all sound good. There have been several studies related to karate and those with discipline and self-respect issues. Karate is a very structured environment requiring participation and respect for yourself and others around you. We've seen individuals grow out of their shells, get past abusive histories, and thrive in classes of this type. Companion services. All are available for all ages. Depending on the needs of your loved one, you may find yourself in need of additional help at the most unexpected times. It can be very worthwhile to speak with a personal support service agency and see if they can provide the level of care and companionship you're looking for. Planning for an urgent need is always the best thing to do. It might be that you need a respite stay. or a companion to go along with you on a vacation to allow the entire family to be able to enjoy the trip. All these services will be considered by your trustee. Medical attention beyond simple necessities of life. So let's think outside the box on this one. How about massage therapy? It's one of the first that comes to my mind. However, we may have many modalities that are available, but not necessarily covered by current insurance. CBD oil, acupuncture, and other alternative therapies. With proper documentation of potential outcomes, these will also be considered by your trustee. And lastly, we get down to self-esteem items, the needs and wants. Ladies always feel better after a good haircut. So says my wife. Going to get your nails done, I'm sure will lift your spirits. Yes, all of these can be covered. Guys, sometimes it's as simple as a new baseball and a glove to work on, or fishing in the local lake, or heading to the campground for the weekend. Well, we also learned at a young age that the color red often means danger or stop. Same with special needs trusts. Under no circumstances should the trustee make distributions to the beneficiary of cash money. Food and groceries as well, and rent and mortgage is covered under government benefits. These types of disbursements are discouraged even if the beneficiary is not yet receiving government benefits. Others listed on this side are all the no's in the world of the Special Needs Trust. And we can once again look at them on the screen. Cash paid out of the trust. Can you imagine somebody asking for cash money and heading straight to Tunica or the racetrack? Maybe they want to play in the poker game on Saturday night and drink beer. That's not what a special needs trust is all about. Food and groceries are covered by TennCare, Medicaid, Social Security, disability income, property taxes. That encompasses the entire property. Remember, we're focused on what's best for the individual, the beneficiary. Same with HOA fees. We can't issue a check to cover the landscaping for the common grounds, or maybe having your front yard landscaped or the lawn mowed. Utilities, including hookups and or reconnections, that's a no-go. Sorry. So this is where it gets fun. We know what the yeses are, we know what the nos are, but it's that little bit of squeaky gray room that we're talking about maybe. Well, it depends. Well, maybe we just don't have enough information yet. Some things are just not as easy as yes or no. So that leads us to a situation that Teresa's somewhat familiar with. We call it the Mountain Dew story. I'm going to ask her to relay that to us.
Thank you, Bill. As we go through and talk to our beneficiaries when we first start trust, we talk to them about the needs that they have, their wishes, and what they're looking for. As we went to talk to one of our beneficiaries, she was going to be moving from her home into a nursing facility, and that would become her permanent residence. As we talked to her, she made it very clear that she could make things work as long as she had her Mountain Dew. Knowing the rules and regulations that we have in long-term care facilities, we went and talked with the dietary manager, discussed the new resident's dietary request. After scratching her head and looking around a little bit, she said, well, we don't like them drinking a whole lot of Coke. And I said, well, it's Mountain Dew. She said, same thing. She said, so we'll agree to give her one a day. That's what we're going to do. So we went back and talked to our beneficiary. Her response to us was plain and simple. One of the few things I have left in life I can enjoy is drinking my Mountain Dew. One a day just doesn't cover it. She looked at us and she said, you know what? Just go ahead and shoot me and get me out of my misery. I don't want to be here if I can't enjoy life. We were able to go back to the trustee and talk about her concerns over losing the opportunity to have her Mountain Dews through the day. There had to be something we could do. We looked at it. She's virtually bedbound, was going to be staying in her room most of the time. So we decided that, quite honestly, her Mountain Dew is the biggest social activity she would have throughout the day. So it no longer became just food or drink. It became her ability to enjoy her day and what she would go through the hours. The nursing home worked with us. We were able to purchase a small refrigerator, Mountain Dew that we stashed away in the closet until they were ready to go into the fridge. And the staff were all excited that when they came in to check on this beneficiary, they could also ask her if she needed a fresh Mountain Dew. Did this situation change her quality of life? You better believe it did. A lady that was saying, just shoot me and get me out of my misery, lived for several more years. She enjoyed her time there at the facility. She got closer with the staff. And not only did she have her Mountain Dew, but they were able to encourage her to get out of the room just a little bit more, participate in a few activities at the facility, and she had a good quality of life for many years to come. So did this maybe change? It certainly did. It became a yes for her.
Amen. So the next bullet point, pardon the pun, is pistol, rifle, or bow. That's kind of an odd bullet point. Some folks just really like to be outside and hunting. Others want their gun for safety and or reassurance. Several considerations and assessments have to be made. That goes without saying. Number one, does the beneficiary have the physical or mental ability to handle the possession of a weapon? Number two, do they understand the potential outcomes if the weapon is used in an unsafe manner? And number three, are they able to take care of the weapon and keep it in good working order? A trustee takes on the responsibility of, to the best of their knowledge, information, and belief, the purchase would be in the best interest of the beneficiary. If not, the answer would have to be absolutely no. Housing need related to a disaster. So if you live in the Nashville area, and you have for the last couple of years, you know that Nashville and that general area has been hit with a couple of tornadoes, a very serious one last March to be exact. The devastation was great. Often, insurance takes a long time to catch up with the need. Rent and or mortgage payments were listed above as a no, and we emphasize that because Medicaid TennCare is really there for paying rent or a mortgage. However, what should a trustee do in the event of a disaster? After all, they are responsible for the safety and quality of life of that beneficiary. This answer could be a maybe. We just don't have enough information yet. Depending on the circumstance, the trustee would have to act in the very best interest of the beneficiary. So I need help saying no. Have you ever felt that way? I think all of us have. We are often asked, why should someone have a professional trustee for their loved one's trust? One of the biggest reasons is for the family. And you're going to wonder, what are you talking about? A professional trustee takes the family out of the yes, no, and maybe aspect. Saying yes is always easy, and we want to say yes, especially to our loved ones. But no can bring on strife and struggles within the family. Taking this issue outside the family takes many of the hard decisions, difficult conversations, and hard feelings out of the inner circle. The trustee will consider each request with an open mind, always working inside the established guidelines, and make every effort to have all parties involved, understanding the consequences of each and every decision made. Saying no is not the only area of concern. We also have parents wanting to do the very best for their loved one living with a disability, but they also won't want to have put that significant burden on siblings to administer the special needs trust. For this reason, you should seek out a trustee who you would feel comfortable working with, and be sure your documents appropriately list the resource to be utilized. So here we are, back at yes, no, or maybe. Some answers are simple, others require research. But either way, we want to be assured we are staying within the guidelines established for the utilization of the benefit of a special needs trust. In review, we've added to this little board a highlight of some of the items we have discussed tonight. Take a look. Does this make you think of other items you would like to discuss? Or do you have questions concerning some on the board? We want you going away tonight armed with the knowledge of whether or not the trust can pay for requested items. So let's take a look at that. We have a big round green yes, and we have Uber or Lyft. We have hair color or perm. And I actually dye my hair this color. I mean, I do this on purpose. It's been like this since I've been 45. And it cost me a fortune to get it to look like this. And then you have acupuncture. Those are all yeses. So the no's, we talked about illegal drugs, absolutely not. A birthday gift for a family. Now you would think that that could be a yes, but remember, special needs trusts are for the benefit of the beneficiary. A gift to a family member is not that benefit. How about daily orders out for pizza? I don't think so. So now we're back into that yellow, maybe, where most of the conversation and research needs to take place. It says furry friend. To me, that means maybe a little puppy or a kitten. I think with enough information, the trustee could come up with maybe a pretty good reason to allow that. Alcohol, little shaky, but under the right circumstances, you know, a little nice bottle of wine for dinner. I'm thinking if I'm trustee, I'm leaning that direction. Bird feeder, that's kind of odd, but if you're indoors at the window and you love birds, don't you want to attract them? I think that's really kind of sums it up. So here's the coming attractions for next week. We're going to be asking Carolyn to come back and talk to us. And she's going to give us financial strategies and planning that will possibly ease your mind, and also you'll be able to digest exactly what special needs trusts are. And maybe she can give you maybe that feeling about, maybe I need to take a stronger look at this. Maybe it's time that I actually take some action and reach out and talk to a professional. And that's what it's all about. So with that, we're going to open it up for questions. I want to thank you for your time and attention. And we're going to go from here.
Thank y'all. Remember, if you have any questions, please raise your hand button, press the hand button at the bottom of the screen, and we will call on you. We got some questions emailed to us before the presentation. So the first question is, my husband was involved in a serious automobile accident. He now suffers from severe depression due to his injuries and this accident. He has a first-party special needs trust with $42,000. In it currently, my husband keeps asking our trustee to purchase alcohol for him. He knows that the alcohol is not good for him or his depression. My question is, does the trustee have to say yes and purchase the alcohol for him?
Bill, would you like to answer that one tonight?
Sure, I kind of touched on it a little bit. The trustee has to determine whether or not there's potential for abuse of that alcohol. So maybe you can limit the quantity that's purchased, or maybe the type of alcohol that may be allowed. If it's a 6-pack of beer or a bottle of wine for dinner, that's a lot different than maybe some hard stuff and several bottles of it. So those are the things that you need to consider. And the trustee is going to have to research that and maybe talk to the family members, see what their feeling is about it. We don't ever want to encourage somebody to abuse something like alcohol.
The next question was, my child who has Down syndrome wants to enjoy normal activities like other children, horseback riding, dance lessons, art classes. Would these types of activities be approved for payment by a trustee?
Darlene, you've been awfully quiet tonight. Would you like to pick up?
Well, sure. I'll be glad to answer that one. So this child could have these different services paid from his trust so he could live a good quality of life. Dance classes are very good. There's lots of social interaction besides the physical activity. All of the things that were listed would be approved. Now, there's obvious guidelines that have to be followed, that the parent will work with the trustee to provide information on the different companies that are providing these services. But that's all done after the trust is established.
Okay. I've been trying to talk with my wife into buying a houseboat for the family's use. She has multiple sclerosis and has a first-party special needs trust funded by inheritance. I know her special needs trust will fund entertainment. This houseboat would definitely give our family a lot of entertainment. Would this request be allowable?
Do you care if I answer this one, Teresa?
Darlene, I think since you love boating, you're the lady for this one.
Okay. Well, yes, I do have a houseboat, and so I can relate to how the family wants a houseboat, and it will provide a lot of fun and activity for the entire family. Now, to have a houseboat paid for from the trust, that's another situation, because the houseboat is not for the sole benefit of the beneficiary. The houseboat can only be paid in a portion of the total amount. So let's say there's 5 people in the family, 1/5 of the houseboat could be paid from the trust. That you also have to think of other things like gas for the houseboat, furnishing the houseboat, insurance on the houseboat. And let me tell you, they say that when you own a boat, you have to break out another 1,000 for all the repairs. And I can attest that's true. So that's another thing that has to be considered before purchasing a houseboat. This family could have a houseboat, but remember, if there's 5 people, 1/5 of that purchase would be covered. And any repairs, insurance, anything like that, it would be a portion paid.
My mother, who lives with us, has Alzheimer's. My 11-year-old has autism. What type of special needs trust would be appropriate for both my mother and for my son?
Well, I'll take that one. The mother who has Alzheimer's, there's a couple different ways you can go there, and a lot of it depends on her age. If she is 65 and up, she must do a pooled trust. If she's under 65, she could be eligible for a first party special needs trust. And she could have some money that she could fund herself, or the family may want to help her fund that special needs trust. So either way, I think potentially you could have a decision made for either a first party or a pooled trust. The advantage of a pooled trust would be, it could even be a smaller trust, and it would be combined with all types of other pooled trusts, so that the entire financial pool of money could be invested, so that all parties having a pooled trust could take advantage of a better return on their investment. Each one of those, and Teresa uses the example of everybody swimming in the pool, but each one is on their own floaty. That's kind of way, that's kind of the way pool trust operates, is that you're all in the same pool, you're all on your own floaty, but together you're investing a total amount of money, but each person has an individual account.
I'd like to add to this. For the child, a third-party trust could be set up. It's called a third-party supplemental needs trust, and family members could gift money to this child's trust to be used for her benefit. Just as Bill said that maybe family members would want to contribute money to the woman's trust, she might have a third-party supplemental needs trust that held the gifts, and then a first party or pooled trust for her own personal money.
So what you're saying, Darlene, is you have the ability sometimes, depending upon the situation, to have more than one special needs trust or a different type of special needs trust.
That's correct, Bill.
All right. I guess that's it for questions. Carolyn, do you want to talk about what you're going to talk about next week?
Yes, and actually I wanted to comment on the last thing. You know, depending on how many special needs trusts you have, can also give you some ability from a financial perspective of how to invest the money. So next week, I will be talking about how to fund your special needs trusts. Depending upon what you have set up, can determine, you know, and your age and your goals, all come into the factor of what should I put into a special needs trust in terms of assets? What am I allowed to? How much should I put in there? When can I start pulling the money out? So this is all a lot of exciting information that I'm going to share with you next week. It is not cut and dry, so I hope you all stay tuned, because it will be an exciting show I feel like I'm on TV now. Exciting Zoominar next week in terms of how to fund your special needs trust. And again, this is such an important topic. My whole mantra is knowledge is power. I hope you all come back, spread the word, and we look forward to seeing you back here next week. And I think, Tyler, if that's all we have, I think.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming out. We will see you for week 4 and certificate day. See y'all.
Yes.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.